From SundaySchoolNetwork.com. Today I'm going to talk about our Pentecost Rusher Toy. So let me get this going and you'll see what I mean. When the day of Pentecost arrived, the disciples were all together in one place, and suddenly there came from heaven a sound like a mighty rushing wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting, and they saw what looked to be like tongues of fire hovering over each one of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and the Spirit gave them the ability to speak in other languages. Acts 2, 1 through 4. Okay, listen to this. Did that rushing wind sound? Okay, so let me talk about how we made this and how some of these ideas come into being. People often ask me, well, how do you come up with these ideas for lessons? Well, today I'm going to give you some pointers on how I do that, and maybe it'll help you in your lesson preparation as well. So obviously I pray first. I guess that's not obvious, but we should always pray first. Ask God to help us to have an understanding of what He wants us to teach, and then to pray for creative insight as well. So one of the other things that I do is I try to zero in on one particular, when I'm thinking of a craft or a game to accompany the lesson, to reinforce the Bible lesson. I try to zero in on one aspect or one hook, if you will, to get the children to remember that. So the hook for this lesson would have been the rushing wind sound. So as I was doing it earlier, again, I'll do it one more time so you can hear it. Hope that comes across. So I focused in on the rushing wind sound and the tongues of fire, which is in the graphic. And when you purchase this, you get the directions to make this, as well as the two patterns. It's relatively easy to make. A little bit of adult supervision, but other than that, children can make this. It's a perfect craft for when you're home or within Sunday school settings, Bible club settings. So the hook, that would be probably the number one thing that I would recommend you do when you're trying to find ideas to coordinate with your lesson. Zero in on a word or a phrase that sticks out in order to hook the child and connect that thought to the lesson, so that in this case they're reminded of the rushing wind, which is the coming of the Holy Spirit, and the tongues of fire that hovered over the disciples' heads. Then also implement ideas of design that you know of or study about it first, and history to inspire creativity. In this respect, this particular item was a historical idea. An American Wizard toy was the idea, piggyback idea, if you will, to making this craft. I knew that American Wizard toys made a rushing, whizzing sound, so it was the perfect connection. And then by using something more specific to the lesson, like the tongues of fire, and putting that on the Wizard toy, I have the connection there then. And so that's probably the main thing that I would encourage you to do, is to, as you study the lesson, think of the hook. What is that hook that you can connect in the lesson to the craft or the game? I've done this quite a bit in our Bible Games Explosion book as well, and I will also put these 4 ideas for thinking of creative thoughts for your lesson, as well as links to the craft to make this, as well as links to our Bible Games Explosion book to show you how we connect piggyback games, existing games, to implementing them in Bible lesson time as well. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. I really appreciate you giving me a thumbs up and sharing the video as well. God bless you. Stay safe. We're almost through this COVID crisis. I'm hoping and praying, and I pray that you stay well and that your children are inspired to continue serving and loving the Lord. Bless you. Talk to you soon. Bye.